Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. And somebody posted on Facebook a question how you could adhere of something on the back to hold a photo or a frame. And my suggestion, and I've already posted the file on Epilog's Facebook page, I think I posted this one, is just to make your own. If you cut anything out of plywood, you have scraps around, you can definitely cut this out of a scrap. This is your top piece, and this is your bottom piece. You glue your bottom piece down first, then glue the top piece on top. That gives it an 1/8 inch clearance for the nail head to go underneath and grab a sawtooth. You could buy these from Home Depot out of metal, but if you make them out of scrap, they don't cost you anything. And you could discreetly advertise for yourself for years later when people want to know where that came from, what you made. So if you've watched enough of my videos, you know I draw in the center of the page. So I drew a 4-inch rectangle. I've got my nudge factor set on 1.75. I'm going to put my indexing line in the center, and I'm going to move over 1.75. Simple as that. We're going to take our rectangle now and round off the corners 0.25 of an inch. Now let's zoom in here a little bit. We're going to make a duplicate of this, Control D, and we're going to move that down. And you'll see why in just a second. We need to virtually take your virtual segment delete key and delete these lines. And the reason I did that, let's change all these to curves. And the reason I did that, if you take your shape tool and select these two nodes and start adding nodes, it's going to add nodes where you don't need them. So that's why I like using the line. You grab these, and as you can see, our nodes are on line and not curves because the nodes are high, it's grayed out. And let's just start adding nodes. And that's probably enough for the video. You could make this yourself your own. Now I'm going to put one more indexing line in the center of the page just so I know which node is in the center. And for some reason it's not exactly in the center, but for the video it'd be good enough. I'm going to hold down the shift key. I'm going to grab every other node. And you might want to add a few nodes, but for the video this is good. And then I'm just going to select. I've got them all selected. I'm just going to bring them up to what I think is good. Let's get rid of our indexing lines now. We don't need them anymore. Let's virtual segment delete key the center of this out. Now let's take this and move it up to 1.75. Now you can do it two ways. You can weld it. I a lot of times will use the color fill tool, and you can see if you have a leak or not. And we have a leak. It doesn't really matter in this particular case, but we've got something wrong right there. But you can very easily fix that. Get it on both sides. That's why I use the color fill tool. Somehow I moved something off. That's why that one node wasn't completely in the center, but for the video it's good enough, so we'll use our Smart Fill tool. And now with the Smart Fill tool, you can take away the fill and add a red hairline, and now you know you've got a completed object. Move that to the center of the page, Control D and make a duplicate and move it down. Now we're trying to make the back, and just take these nodes in the center and just delete them. Then just, I guess we should have left our indexing line back in the center. Let's grab that center of that line and let's just move it up. Now let's move it up the whole, let's get our pick tool and move it up. And that's what it's going to look like. That's not perfect. You've got a lot of glue area. Well, let's change this. Let's add a node right here and a node right here. Let's just move this up out of the way. That way you've got plenty of glue surface, and you've got plenty of room for the nail head. If you can imagine the head of a nail being like that, you know it's not going to be in the way of, and that's what's happening, is it's going to catch right there. So that's not the prettiest one I'd ever made, and I would definitely clean this up and maybe convert this to a line, and you don't want to do that, but you could just bring this up and get it out of the way a little bit. But that's plenty good. And what's good about this is you've got a lot of gluable surface. Now, if it was a real little bitty item, you could scrunch that down. Now, what's also good about this, these are 4-inch nameplates or plate holders or tile or frame holders. If you select them both, you can make them both longer and they're still going to work. You can make them smaller and they're still going to work. You can make them any shape you want. Now it's 3.8. Let's make them a little bit shorter. Now it's 3.14. Bring them a little bit more. Now it's 2.5 inches long. And it's still going to work because you move both of them at one time. Put them both in the center of the page. And that's what it looks like. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit, and thank you for watching.